A decision to ban 25 insecticides by the Ministry of Agriculture in India is a welcome step for the future of India's environment and the future of its citizens. This is one of the proactive and positive decisions for the farmers who always had the risk of using it, for the citizens who still have to consume these chemicals through contaminated food and water without their knowledge, and for the children who always have no other choice but to live in a poisoned planet. Out of the 27 pesticides which are proposed to be banned, there are 3 class 1 pesticides: monocrotophos, methomyl, and carbaryl, all associated with high levels of toxicity. They have been declared as extremely hazardous or highly hazardous by the World Health Organization, also stamped by European Union as extremely harmful. And these decisions are purely based on a series of studies done by the researchers in various parts of the world, both in the lab and in the field. It is not India alone who banned these chemicals. Carbofuran, for example, is banned by 63 countries, and monocrotophos is banned by 112 countries. Apart from these class 1 category insecticides, there are other pesticides which are classified as detrimental by the European Union, and these include endocrine disrupting chemicals, and they are known to disrupt our body's endocrine or hormone system. Now, I would rather request to curb the use of glyphosate as well, because it has proved a history of possibly carcinogenic potential in it, and extensively used in India as we decide. It requires a greater application to maintain the effectiveness, and the development of glyphosate resistance in weed species is emerging as a costly problem as far as India is concerned. As an aquatic biologist concerned with the health of our water bodies, I would always appreciate the ban, since even without pesticides, majority of our water bodies are contaminated. The increasing lots of pesticides and fertilizers from the land-based sources continue to put all our water bodies in extreme levels of contamination. All these chemical fertilizers and pesticides have multiple levels of impacts on aquatic ecosystems, as they increase the toxicity of bottom soil, increase the chance of both surface water and groundwater contamination. Above all, through the food chain, they undergo a phenomenon of biomagnification. Since we the humans are at the higher trophic level or at the receiving end, the impacts of chemical magnification would ultimately impact our own system, besides all the connected biotic elements in the system. Recent unpublished studies from the southern Western Ghats shows that fish in all the major rivers are contaminated with pesticides. Moreover, contamination of pesticides, even in bottled drinking water, has been reported from India, involving all the major distributors. An area of concern is that our legal regulations for monitoring drinking water contamination is somewhat inadequate. There is still poor understanding of catchment scale dynamics and the transport of contaminants, particularly across various hydrological settings. Above all, we did not fully comprehend the action of chemical pollutants in synergy with plasticizers and other chemicals, especially in anoxic situation in water bodies. All these warrant a precautionary approach against pesticide use in India. Around 40,000 to 60,000 chemicals are part of our daily life. According to UN, the current chemical production capacity of 2.3 billion tons is projected to double by 2030. As a result, a silent pandemic of disability and disease is spreading in association with exposure to toxins and pollutants right from the childhood. However, the persistence of chemical pesticide toxicity in the environment, their effects on non-target organisms, including humans, and the increase in insecticide resistance or weedicide resistance demands the need for alternative methods of control that are pest-specific, non-harmful to humans, and do not develop resistance. We need to understand that science is changing and there is greater global impetus on search for nature-based solutions. Innovative research in many parts of the globe comes up with alternative methods of farming, chemical-free farming, and integrated ecological farming, as well as integrated pest management. But for the farmers, the alternatives should be available at a cheaper cost and everywhere on demand. It is the responsibility of the government. The opinions to the options to produce biopesticides, including microbial pesticides and herbal pesticides, should be promoted in the country and subsidized. The chemical pesticide exporters in India complain about loss of trade, but there would be greater potential for the export of biopesticides which is made in India. And it is always better than exporting poison to outside, especially when our motto in the new normal is Loka Samasta Sugino Bhavantu. We need not repeat the model set by the United States of America as they banned DDT at the beginning of 1972 and continued the export of DDT to different parts of the world till last 1 decade back. We also need to invest in integrated pest management research, and this should happen at the regional scale, or rather for agrobiodiversity zones of the country, and for all crops and in mixed farming systems. The research community also should have the tremendous scope for IPM in future, rather than living with the scope that the foreign genes inserted in plants would be a panacea for the pest issues. Once we have the master plan for promoting ecological farming in the country, the problems related with pest management can be solved in the immediate future. But in a country which has a ministry for fertilizers and chemicals, the opposition for banning pesticides is quite common. And also in a system where there is no transparency and accountability for the amount of pesticides produced and used, and the chemical composition are not displayed in the bottle, we cannot ensure safe food and water to the future citizens. Therefore, transparency and accountability are also essential in the field. What is to be changed is our mindset and corporate interventions in the age-old farming system and practices in countries like India. We evolved as farming communities. Our culture is deep-rooted in this agricultural legacy. The agricultural industry need to catch up quickly and innovate to provide safe and sustainable food to feed the global population. The agricultural education system in the country also need to change the approach with this kind of mindset. We also need to regulate corporate interventions in the sale of seeds and agricultural inputs, as this would push the farmers to more to further depths. Also remember that the biotechnology related industry, the most significant number of patents are now with corporates than with research and development organizations. Our motto should be to think for a better planet to live and a chemical-free life and happy and sustainable farming communities. That is the future of India. This is the only strategy to address the silent pandemic